Hey there, thrill seekers. We've got a mind-blowing question for you. Have you ever found yourself stuck on a couch, glued to the most epic show, watching paint dry? I know, your eyebrows just did a double take. But think about it, paint drying is like a real-life action movie, playing out frame by frame, with its very own slow-motion sequences and suspenseful plot twists. And the best part, there are people out there who can actually sit back, relax, and wait decades for the most epic of finishes. Yep, you read that right. These super patient folks are about to take center stage. Buckle up, friends, because we're about to blow your minds. There's this incredible crew of super slow browsers who've spent their time glued to a screen as they witnessed something truly unique, an event so slow, it's taken decades for it to unfold. You might be thinking, what in the world could possibly take that long? Well, curiosity is about to get the best of you. Get cozy, everyone. We're about to dive into a truly mind-blowing story that's been quietly unfolding right under our noses. You might have heard of records being smashed left and right, from the world's tallest person to the fastest 100 EV dash. But this one takes the cake. It's an experiment that's been running non-stop for an astonishing 91 years. Can you believe it? That's even longer than some people have been alive. We can't wait to share this jaw-dropping journey with you, as we uncover what makes it both fascinating and a little bit weird. Let's meet the superstar of our story, pitch. You might have seen it, but didn't quite notice it's not actually a rock-solid substance. This mesmerizing liquid is so thick and slow-moving that you could easily mistake it for a solid. But trust us, it's alive. Scientists call this super viscous magic real deal pitch. It flows like syrup in slow motion, taking up to 10 whole years to form just one tiny drop. Can you imagine watching paint dry and waiting even longer to see the result? This stuff is mind-bending, and we're just getting started on why it's so important in our record-breaking experiment. Now that you know the star of our show, let's dive back into the main event. The pitch drop experiment has been running since 1927 when Professor Thomas Parnell kicked things off in Australia. He wanted to blow minds by showing students that some substances seem solid, but are actually liquid superheroes. So, how did he set it up? Thomas poured a super hot pitch sample into this sealed funnel and waited for 3 whole years. The suspense was just beginning. Imagine the curiosity of his students. Fast forward to 1930, the seal was cut, unleashing the patiently waiting pitch into action. To keep an eye on things, a glass dome went up, creating an extraordinary observation station. And here's where it gets totally mind-blowing. In 2022, this experiment made its way into the Guinness World Records as the longest-running lab experiment EVR. But get this, the team estimates there's still over a century of slow-moving action to come, meaning it could keep flowing till at least 2123. We're talking bizarre on another level here, and we can't wait to explore more of the weirdness surrounding this one-of-a-kind experiment. Let's dive deeper into this incredible record breaker. Initially, the experiment was done in everyday conditions, no fancy climate control here. The pitch's super slow movement would actually change with temperature swings throughout the year. Then, in 1988, something changed. Air conditioning was installed at the site. Guess what? It made a real difference. Each drop of that slow-moving pitch took longer to fall, thanks to the cooler temps. It just goes to show, even small changes can have a big impact on this one-of-a-kind experiment. Here's what we've found: cooler temps mean each drop takes even longer to break off from the rest of the pitch in that funnel. So, how long does one tiny drop take to make its way down? The truth is, it's so slow you can't even predict exactly when it'll fall. But hold on to your seats, we've got some mind-blowing facts. The first drop took 8 whole years to fall, and the next 5 didn't follow until a whopping 40 years later. Yep, this experiment defies all sense of time. You heard us right, 8 whole years for that first drop. But here's the crazy part: after they cranked up the air conditioning, it slowed down even more, with each new drop taking roughly 13 long years to make its way down. To put that into perspective, we're talking a grand total of just 9 drops since this experiment began, and the most recent one slipped away in 2014. So, get ready to be a part of history as we anticipate the next big fall sometime in the next decade. You can actually catch this phenomenon live the pitch drop experiment is on display for the public at the University of Queensland's St. Lucia campus. Head to Level 2 of Parnell Building, School of Mathematics and Physics, to see it up close. But let's be real, predicting exactly when that next drop will fall, that's like trying to guess lottery numbers. Near impossible. So unless you're ready to give up your social life, grab a comfy spot, and camp out in front of the funnel till it happens, you'll probably miss it. How many of you are up for the challenge? Or will we just have to wait for a lucky viewer? But if you're brave enough to camp out, you'll join an elite group. You'll be the very first person to witness a pitch drop actually falling. But wait, doesn't that title already belong to someone? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Back in 1961. Professor John Mainstone took over the experiment and waited patiently for 52 years. He was almost the hero we thought he'd be, but fate had other plans. Or should I say, no plans at all? Because after all those decades of anticipation, not even Professor Mainstone got to see a drop fall during his watch. The suspense is still going strong. Will you be the one to break this record? Fast forward to 88, when the 7th drop made its grand entrance, but guess who wasn't around to witness it? None other than Professor John Mainstone, our timekeeper extraordinaire. He was out grabbing a coffee and missed the whole show by just a few minutes. Can you imagine being this close yet still missing history in the making? Talk about a bittersweet feeling. As fate would have it, Professor Mainstone left us too soon in 2013 without getting to see that pitch drop fall, but his legacy lives on. He and Thomas Parnell were awarded the Ig Nobel Prize in Physics for their incredible patience and dedication to this experiment, which is basically the science equivalent of a standing ovation. Now let's talk about the 9th drop that took a dramatic tumble in 2014. But here's the twist, no one actually got to see it happen. That's because Professor Andrew White had taken over as the guardian of this experiment after Professor Mainstone. The big moment went down on April 17, 2014, an unforgettable day for two reasons. Not only did we get to witness the 9th drop falls, technically, in the pitch drop experiment record books, but something even more bizarre occurred when those two drops finally met. They were still connected to the funnel. The 9th drop had attached itself to the 8th one, creating this crazy, stuck-in-time moment that's as fascinating as it is weird. Fast forward to April 24, 2014, Professor White thought he'd found a solution to the fused drop problem. He decided to swap out the beaker holding those 8 drops stuck together with the 9th one that hadn't fully detached from the funnel yet. But little did he know, things were about to get even more wild. As they carefully lifted the bell jar, the wooden base began to wobble, and in a split second, the 9th drop snapped free from its sticky situation and broke away from the funnel. The professor must have had his hands full, not just with the experiment, but maybe also with some band aids. And if you're curious about what's going on with this experiment today, don't worry, it's been under constant surveillance through a webcam for years now. In fact, hundreds of thousands of viewers tune in every year to catch the live stream and see if anything else crazy will happen. Now you might be wondering why we're talking about nobody catching the 8th drop's fall live. After all, cameras have been rolling for years, right? Well, here's the thing, that 8th drop actually dropped way back in November 2000. To make sure they'd capture history as it happened, the team installed cameras to record every single moment. But guess what? Just like a real-life drama, their fate was sealed by a camera malfunction. And due to some major glitches, the whole thing slipped through their fingers. Or rather, their lens. It's like the universe had other plans for this drop. Fast forward to the 2020s all. That's when we're expecting the next drop to make its move. Fingers crossed nothing goes awry, and we'll get a live stream going around the globe. You'd think after 10 drops, someone would have caught a glimpse of this pitch drop in action, right? But nope, it's still a mystery. Now, while waiting for what feels like an eternity might sound dull, here's the twist. People are actually putting their money on when exactly the next drop will happen. An Aussie sports betting site has even got odds going on it, so you can bet and potentially win some cash from this unusual spectacle. It's not every day you get to wager on something called the least exciting event in history. Talk about adding some spice to an experiment that's been unfolding for decades. Hold your horses if you can't wait it out. This one's a long game. But here's the thing we might have been wrong about nobody seeing the pitch drop fall. There's actually another experiment running in Dublin, Ireland at Trinity College that started back in October 1944. And guess what? It's still going strong. That means their pitch drop experiment has been around for nearly as long as yours truly has been alive. Now, let's see, what could possibly have happened that's so unbelievable after all these decades? Fast forward to July 11th, 2013, a day that made history. Physicists had been waiting for another drop to form in their Trinity College experiment after about a decade of watching the previous one ooze along. And when they finally set up cameras to catch the action, it paid off. Around 5 p.m. on that day, the pitch drop happened, and it was caught beautifully on camera, marking the first time anyone had ever managed to record this slow-moving phenomenon. Talk about a moment worth waiting for. But here's what makes this historic footage so valuable: it gave us a glimpse into the incredibly thick world of pitch. Trinity College physicists calculated that its viscosity is mind-bogglingly higher than honey. We're talking 2 million times more resistant to flow. That's even way thicker than water by about 20 billion times. So, when you watch this slow-moving drop in action, remember, you're witnessing something truly one in a million. Now, are you up for the challenge? Can you stare at our screen and watch the next pitch drop happen with us? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's all for today's video. Thanks so much for joining in on the fascinating world of pitch drops. If you enjoyed this experiment, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications for more